Welcome back. I was lolling at the comments on the last living room video because I did spill my tea. I'm a chronic over cup filler. My cup literally but overflowing onto the floor, and people worrying I was going to spill the tea. It's not often I spill now. Welcome to this week's video. I finally went to the fabric shop that I said I was going to go to. So I went to like $4.99 fabric outlet in Newbridge. Like everything, it was $4.95 or basically a $5 a meter. And I also have a tutorial on making cushions with piping and a zipper. So tackling two skills, piping and a zipper. I'm gonna get straight into the footage that I got at the fabric shop. Oh my God, it is epic. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so get ready for loads of fabric. I don't think I have ever been in a fabric shop like this in my life. So this is a fabric outlet and it's in Newbridge. If you just pop that into your Google Maps, it will come up. I think it was about a 50-minute drive from Dublin, although it was morning time and I was stuck in traffic on the M50, so you could probably get there quicker. So everything is a $5 a meter. I think it's $4.99. So don't go by the prices that are on the fabric inside. It's when you get to the till, it'll be a $5 a meter. I was overwhelmed by the amount of fabric, and I think I spent an hour here rummaging. So there is a little bit of order to the place. It seems to kind of be done in colour sections. I noticed there was loads of fabric for upholstery, maybe like a little bit of dressmaking. There was a smaller section for the likes of craft materials, so you know, like poly cotton and cotton fabrics that are for, you know, smaller projects, maybe some quilting and things like that. There was definitely way more fabric for upholstery and in different colours and textures. When I initially went in, I was looking for a striped material. I kind of had my heart set on something that was like a cream background with a green stripe, but I ended up just getting a plain green material. Just a little heads up, when I got to the cashier, it was cash only because the card machine was broken, but there is a super value across the road if you do need to use the ATM. It's literally like a 2-minute walk across the road. Let's make a fancy cushion that has piping and a zipper. If you are not a fan of zippers, you could do an envelope back on this and skip the zipper. Do have an older video on how to make an envelope back cushion. Delve into the archives and you will find it. I'm going to use my existing cushion as a template because I'm going to be using the filler from this. I am going to make a 20 by 20 and that will have the seam allowance in it, so that it will be 19 roughly when I'm finished. For this cushion I have a front piece that is 20 by 20 inches. I'll have 2 back pieces that will allow for me to insert the zipper. One piece will be 20 by 19 inches and then I'll have another piece that will be 20 by 2 inches. I also have one really long strip that will be for the casing for the piping. So this is going to be 2 by 90 inches, but you see in the next slide I cut 3 pieces that are 2 by 30 and I connected them together to make the piping, and I'll show you how I did that. So here's the 3 strips of fabric. Ignore my wonky cutting, I promise it'll be fine in the end. So I'm placing one on top of the other, right sides facing each other at a 90-degree angle, and then I'm going to do a diagonal line of stitching, trim off the excess and iron open this seam, and this will give a lovely connection, and I'll make one really long strip for my casing for the piping. So now it's time to grab your zipper foot and pop that onto your sewing machine, and here's what the piping cord looks like. Mine isn't too thick, I'm not actually sure what millimeter this is, I just picked it up in the fabric shop, but this is what I'm going to be using. The first bit of sewing we're going to be doing is creating the casing for the piping. So fold the fabric in half and push the cord to one side and bring it to the machine and do a straight stitch all the way down, but keep it nice and tight. Keep the stitch nice and tight to the edge of the cord. So now you're going to pin the piping to your front piece, to the right side of your front piece, and use loads of pins for this, especially if it's your first time. So take your time when pinning it to the fabric, and when you get to a corner, I like to just do some little snips on the corners so that the cord will turn around easier, and make sure that the cord is on the inside of the fabric, because I have made the mistake in the past where I've had this the wrong way around, and you will have to get your seam ripper out, my friend, if you do that. So now it's time to trim your excess piece of piping. So I'm just cutting off a few inches, and then I'm using my seam ripper to unpick some of that fabric. And then I'm going to make sure that when I cut the bit of cording that it butts up with the other piece, so you've got like a straight piece of cording, you've no gaps basically. And I'm going to fold over that raw piece of fabric, and then I'm going to sandwich that around the other piece of piping. You're going to do a straight stitch all the way around, and you're going to still be using your zipper foot, and make sure to keep it tight to the piping. You can follow the existing line of stitching that you had from when you did your piping and use that as a guide. I don't have an overlocker, but I did a zigzag stitch all around those loose raw hems because my fabric was fraying and it was driving me crazy. Now it's time to work on the back piece and get it ready for inserting our zipper. I folded over the fabric half an inch and I pressed it on both pieces of fabric. You'll see my zipper is a little bit on the short side, but not to worry, it's still going to do the job. So I am going to be doing a straight stitch on the two sides, but I'm only going to be coming in 3 inches either side, and that will leave me with this opening where my zipper is going to go. As you can see, I'm placing the two right sides of the fabric together and I'm pinning them in place, but I'm only going to be sewing in 3 inches on either side, which will leave me a gap for the zipper. Now I'm going to insert the zipper and use loads of pins for this as well to keep it nice and straight. Sometimes when you're on the sewing machine they can move around and you are going to see your top stitch, so use lots of pins for this. I'm also trying to keep those two pieces of fabric as close together as I can, because if they're kind of gappy in any way, you're going to see the zipper on the back. So I'm doing my best. I'm not a zipper pro, but I'm doing my best to hide the zipper. You're still with me? Yes, you are nearly finished. You're on the home stretch now. You're going to lay the two pieces of fabric on top of each other with the right sides of the material facing each other. Then going to pin everything together. I like to start in the corners and get them right and then pin it all the way around. Again, use loads of pins for this. And you're going to take it to the machine and you're going to do a straight stitch all the way around, and again you're keeping tight to that piping, so again use that stitching line from the piping as a guide. So I have a random job that I need to tackle, and that is... So if you can see all here... Oh, my camera playing today. This is wax, and it's been there ages, and I also noticed I have another bit here. But in my... I've been using faux candles, so I'm not sure where this has come from. It could have possibly been from the fire over winter. So I saw... I don't know where I seen the tip, probably on the internet, but it said if I use, I have some baking paper and my iron, and I'm going to softly warm it up, and I'm going to use my scraper to lightly scrape it off, and hopefully I won't damage. I'm not sure what material this is. I don't think it's like an expensive material. It's like I don't think it's slate, could be, but I think it's it's quite cheap. I have a couple of like chips. This was in the house when I moved in, but I just want to tidy this up. Yeah, because it's just annoying me, and give this a bit of a clean. There's a little bit of wallpaper paste here from when I was removing stuff. So I just want to tidy this up. So I've just realised that I haven't really done a final walk around the living room. I know you guys have seen me do the wallpaper and the panelling and the bulk of it, but I just thought I'd give you a little walk around and show you what it is looking like now. So for anybody who's new, you can check out the older videos, just like 2 or 3 videos back, where I share what it looked like before. So I had a different wallpaper up. I absolutely love the wallpaper, and I had a mirror as well, but I have since moved that mirror over to this wall. These walls were also super bare, but I'm going to close this door behind me. I did paneling, and you know what? I'm looking at the paneling now. Sorry, I'm just going to close the door. And oh God, that was painstaking work, but I am really, really proud of it. And I just love how it just makes the room feel a little bit posh, if I do say so myself. I love the colour of the walls with the wallpaper, and these cabinets are they Leotorp? Or am I making that up? But they are IKEA ones, and I got these, I think, 2021, so 2 years ago. So I did have like a china cabinet in here, and over here I had like a small TV stand, but I wanted something that was within my budget. I got a quote for built-ins and it was really expensive, but after doing my woodwork class, I appreciate the labor that goes into it, and I totally understand why custom built-ins were expensive. So I decided to get 2 cabinets either side. I didn't paint these are just the colour that they are. So my fireplace is Colour Trend Cherished White, the same as the front of the door as you walk in. So I think I didn't paint the fireplace the same colour as the panelling, just because I like how it's really similar to the IKEA bookcases. Then this side I did some more panelling, but I just centered it around. There's a radiator behind the chair. There is my new cushions. So I'm liking how there's a bit of green and a bit of pink. So I popped up those little pink candles. They're a happy accident. They're actually from Christmas and I just left them out. And they're just battery packed. And I thought they were scented. They could have been scented and the scent is gone. I'm sure you could put some essential oils on them. But yeah, I like how that is just tying in the couch and the bits of pink in the couch. My couches are DFS and I have them a couple of years now, maybe 2018, 2019. I can check back. I also got to keep it real. This is my handmade stool, so you would have seen I stained this, made this in my woodwork class, but I was doing a little bit of work in this corner, hence why my laptop and all my bits are there. But my stool does come in handy when you want to just place a cup of tea. So I haven't styled this, and also a couple of people, I think it is a genius idea, and I'm going to see if I can find some. So a couple of people were saying about putting lighting on the panels, so like wall sconces, and nowadays there is so many wall sconces that are cordless and the light bulbs that are cordless. So I don't know, I might maybe take the lamp out. The lamp is really handy in winter. I do use it a lot once the darker evenings come in, but I think possibly maybe take the lamp out. It could go upstairs, it could go somewhere else, and do some wall sconces here and here, and possibly here and here, or I could even pop up some lighting up here. I do like the lamp. It gives me like nice lighting, but I do agree that it kind of looks a little bit bulky in the corner, but it's fine for now. It's not offensive. I actually don't know where that's from. It is easily, I think it's 10 years old. There's no tag on it. I'm gonna say it could possibly be B&Q, but many years ago. This wicker basket is from TK Maxx a couple of years ago, but I was coming out of Woodies when I was picking up some supplies. They had loads of these kind of baskets at the exit of one of the stores, and they were all on sale. So I have seen them in Woodies, just if you want to get them. For anyone overseas, I'm sure you could probably get them online, or maybe, I don't know, they're quite popular at the moment, so I'd say you get one in TK Maxx as well. So in the bay window, I just have my little poof here for the minute, but most of the time it's here. And as you can see from where I've been sitting, this is where it kind of goes. But in the evenings, I just push it over there. So I've got space for activities. But so this corner had loads of chipped paint. There was dirty walls. The skirting boards were quite messy. This has all been fixed and painted, and a couple of people were saying about doing an IKEA hack where you take I think it might be a Billy bookcase, but one strip of it, or a calyx. You put it on its side, you use that as your base, you build around it, and you make a seat. And I do think that would be really cute, and I like the idea of having it removable, because I was saying in a previous video about the Christmas tree situation, because this is prime Christmas tree location. The ceiling is dropped as well, so I can't sit a Christmas tree on something because the ceiling is dropped in this section. So I like the idea of doing a bench here, but one that possibly has legs, and that can be removable. I think that would be a fun project for me to do as well. And I do have some of these paneling strips left over, these smaller ones. I do have some strips of them left over that I could use to panel out the bench and make it look fancy to tie in with this, and it would just be sitting there. I didn't do any more paneling in this corner just because I thought it might be too much, but if I do a bench here, I will put some detailing on it, paint it the same colour as this, and then I think it will blend it in. So that is where I'm looking. Don't be fooled by how tidy it is. This is purely just because I was going around fixing the odd jobs. But just to give you a little idea, I'm so happy with, I was saying how it just kind of felt a bit stale and it was giving me 2020 vibes. You know what I mean? A lot of you guys could relate to that. And yeah, I love how it's looking out. It feels much fresher and I enjoy being in this space. So yeah, I think I might just do a bench or something next as a little project. But overall, I am really pleased and I'm also really proud of myself because I did all of the labour myself. However, I will take helpers. So if there's any future projects and anyone wants to help me, I will take helpers. But yeah, I love the wallpaper change. It brings the outside in because I do love being in the garden. And I think it does make my little teacup collection pop. So yeah, there's how I'm looking. So that is what I got up to. I know the fabric that I picked, I didn't want to kind of come home empty-handed. And sometimes with videos I have a quick turnaround to getting a video out. I sometimes don't have the luxury of waiting a couple of weeks until fabric arrives. I do have to kind of film something. So I went with that green, and that fabric is perfect with the wallpaper, like when you stick the fabric next to the wallpaper. I don't know if it's like perfect on the couch, but I think it'll do for now. And yeah, I wanted to make that tutorial for you on how to make some zippered cushions with piping. Let me know if you have a bash. It seems like it could be complicated, but as you're doing it, you're like, oh, this isn't like too bad. So if you are a beginner, just take your time, take it slow, and you'll be grand. I did make a couple of mistakes actually, the first cushion that I made, but I just had my seam ripper. Once you have a seam ripper, you can just undo those mistakes and go again. If only life mistakes were as easy to fix. So that is me for this week. I hope you all have a lovely weekend ahead. Cheeky thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. My regular viewers, you know the sus. If you're new, check out my recent videos, hit the subscribe button, and welcome to the fam. And I'll see you in the next one.